everybody, and welcome back to the Up the Guts podcast. Yes, joining you as always is your host, Trent Yolton, and we are up to the preview episode today on this fresh, cold Wednesday morning. I imagine a lot of you would have had to chuck some water on your front windscreens, ice everywhere. Luckily myself, got the day off, car's been serviced, so didn't have to call Tuesday, but I'm recording Wednesday, and this will be up later today. But yeah, very fresh. We can definitely feel that winter is well and truly upon us. Now, obviously, as I mentioned, this is the preview episode, so we'll go over the Up the Guts tipping competition, see how everyone's going, how everyone's sitting, who's gone up, who's gone down, because obviously there is money on the line for that. And then I'll preview every game and then give my tips and predictions going in ahead into the game. So without further ado, let's jump over and have a look at how the Up the Guts tipping competition's going. So the Up the Guts tipping competition, still remaining on top of the ladder, is Glenn, my father, my dad, on 65 points, holds a 2-point lead over Della in second place on 63. Chris in third, Chris and Corey respectively stay in third and fourth on 62 points. Wendy, my mum, is equal with Hodgie in fifth and sixth on 61. Dos Miller goes up to seventh spot on 60 now after getting 5 last week. Logan jumps up to 8th spot, also on 60 points. Zach jumps up to 9th, also on 59. Will, Fight Your Mate's dad, jumps down to 10th on 58 points, so he's lost his spot there. Elaine is in 11th spot. She remains the same on 57. JD Hawks fan... Stitch up, Will. But JD Hawks fan remains the same spot in 12th on 57. Myself also in 13th. Geez, I put in a piss poor performance this season. I stay in 13th on 57. Liam Drew, Big Pistol, goes up a spot to 14th on 57. Connor drops down to 15th on 53. Had a shocking week last week, Connor. I wonder if he forgot to do his tips. He only got the 2 right. Tommy Sins on 49 in 16th and Basti in 17th on 44. So there's how the Up the Guts tipping competition is standing. Now let's go over and preview every round and give my tips and predictions going into it, starting with Thursday night. Let's go. All right, round 11, tips, previews, and predictions. Let's get into it. Thursday night, and what a way to start off the round. It's the game has been building up for a while. It's Geelong v the Western Bulldogs at GMHBA Stadium. More importantly, it's Bailey Smith versus Western Bulldogs. Bailey Smith, although Xander Maguire did report that he did leave the track early or wasn't at track one of them on Monday, has been reported today that he's all good to go. He will be cleared to play, so it will be on for young and old there. I mentioned in my round 10 review podcast on Tuesday. If you haven't listened, go ahead and check that out. That I believe Bailey Smith can well and truly win the Brownlow the way the form he's playing in. So I'm wondering, I'm not doubting Bailey Smith's going to give a bit of treatment, a bit of lip, a bit of cheekiness. That's just the type of character he is to the Western Bulldogs. I wonder how they're going to respond to that. Obviously, in the middle, they got Bontempelli who returned fire. It was real classy, clever, but cheeky at the same time, the way he returned fire to Bailey Smith. In a comment, Tom Liberatore through that middle has got a bit of fire in him too. Obviously, Riley West down there has shown he loves a bit of fire. So they've got him all around the park at GMHBA Stadium. And I'm sitting here thinking, no danger. And I think the Western Bulldogs are on a really big high. So let me just go over, because make sure I tip now, because remember that one week. GMHBA, Bulldogs, Cats. I'm going to go the upset around and ride the wave of not the upset of the round, but I'm going to ride the wave of the Bulldogs there. To $1.85 to $1.95. Geelong are favourites at home. GMHBA, 68% of the ESPN footy tip followers have tipped the Cats. I'm going to go rogue and go with the Bulldogs. And it's not going to be much. I'm going to go the Bulldogs by 8 points. I reckon it's going to be a Thursday night thriller, a Thursday night fight night down there at the Cattery. Now we move over to Friday night. The Bombers v the Tigers at the MCG, 7:40 p.m. The Bombers are going to want to respond somehow after their very, very, very poor performance against the Western Bulldogs last week. 91 points they went down by. Tigers just narrowly lost to North Melbourne and have not been as bad as what people have been expecting. So it is a bit of a danger game for Essendon, in my opinion. But I am going to be back in the Bombers. I think Zach Merritt was a little down last week, and I think he bounces back and leads his team to a big victory down there. So I'm going to be back in the Bombers, led by a big performance by Zach Merritt. Then we jump over to Saturday, 12:35 p.m. game to start it off. So a bit of an earlier one. And it's at Marvel Stadium. It's the Blues versus the Giants. Talking about that teams that want to respond. The Giants, after the big win against Geelong at GMHBA Stadium, dropped the game to Freo, who have been under the microscope, under the pump. They dropped the game to them at home. They come against Carlton at Marvel, who have been up and down this season. They've had some decent wins, but then they've had some really poor performances. The markets on PointsBet are saying that the Blues are $1.70 favourite to the Giants $2.15, but I'm going to be going against the bookies. I'm going to go with the Giants. I can't go against the fact that I tipped Giants for the flag early pre-season, and while they're not going very well right now, and they've been really disappointing, I think they bounced back against Carlton, who we don't know. I'm pretty sure TDK will be back this week, so they could try and get a dominance in the ruck battle. But I think there's too much class around that midfield and the whole team, in my opinion, for the Giants. I don't know who goes with the like of a Darcy Jones from the Blues. I think he's so influential with his speed on the ball. Jesse Hogan, obviously, they don't really normally like. Well, they'll probably have Wiedering on him, but they would have liked to have him flexing off a bit, I'd imagine. But yeah, I think that Darcy Jones, they don't have anyone to run with him, and he's the live wire lately. He gets the speed, gets it inside 50, and just creates something out of nothing. Toby Green was a bit disappointing last week, but I imagine him to bounce back. I don't know who the matchups that they have for the likes of Green, Jones, more that. Obviously, they got Wiedering. They can put on Hogan. But who are they going to play on the likes of Jones? No Silvani. So, yeah, I think that they're going to be really, really down. And I think the Giants are going to bounce back and win that. Not by a big margin, but I'd say about 20 points. And then after that 12:35 game, we have to wait till the end of that game, till 4:15 p.m. in the MCG, and it's the Hawks v. the Brisbane. The Lions are going to want to respond after that shocking outing against the Demons last week in the last quarter. They should never have lost that game. I mentioned that in my preview. They were in the disappointing category, so the second lowest category on my tier list. And the Hawks at home, it's very hard, very, very hard to go against. But the Brisbane Lions do know the G well. Obviously, they won the flag there last year. But I'm trying to think. So Hipwood, Morris against Barras battle. I'm gonna be back in the Hawks pew at home. It's a 4th versus 2nd battle. But yeah, I'm gonna be backing the Hawthorn Football Club there. Then Friday night, Saturday night doubleheader, 7:35 p.m. first at Marvel Stadium. The Kangaroos host the Pies. Now I know what everyone's gonna be saying. The Pies will get this done very comfortably. That I agree. I'm tipping Collingwood in my team. But don't forget what happened last year. I believe it was about 47 points the Pies, or 50 points were down by to the Kangaroos at halftime and early in the third quarter, and they came back and won. The Pies have this thing against, we'll say average teams, to not necessarily put them away as such, by a big margin, and give them a little bit of a sniff sometimes. And as a fan, that keeps you on the edge, and it nearly gives you a heart attack nearly every week. But they often, against the likes of North, have given them a sniff and only won by a couple points here and there and made it a really good game. But I think Collingwood get it done pretty easily. It'll be interesting to see what North Melbourne do with Nick Dacos. The tagging has been working. He's still at the ball last week, but his impact wasn't as big, only 4 scorer moments. So I'd like to lift that up. It was good seeing Sheasel play a bit more forward mid. Looks like Cornsey was right, after his ban. But that was good. He needs to be playing centre of the ball. He's too creative, and obviously spent his under 18 years as a forward and then started going in the mid later as the year got on. But that's the type of role he needs to be playing. But I'm interested to see what they do with Nick Dacos. Do they chuck a Luke Parker on him and just go hammer him? It'll be interesting to see, but I'm going to be going the Pies. Then the other game on Saturday night, Optus Stadium, the Dockers versus Port Adelaide. Dockers with the big best win of the round, one of the best wins of the round in my opinion, probably them in Melbourne against GWS at NG Stadium last week. They'll be riding that high. Shea Bolton's an absolute superstar. Just really starting to find his feet at the Dockers. And I don't know who goes with him here for Port Adelaide either. Port Adelaide are without Horn Francis as well. For that reason, I'm going to be going with the Dockers to get this done at home by about, I want to say, at least 5-6 goals. Then we jump over to Sunday, 3 games. It's Adelaide at the Adelaide Oval, 1:10 p.m. We got the Crows versus the Eagles. Now, the Eagles got their first win last week. It was really good to see against St Kilda. I thought it was always a danger game. I contemplated tipping West Coast over Saints, but as it was at their home, and we know what Saints are like, they turn up one week and they don't. But I ended up going the Saints, and I had egg on my face by the end of the round. But this one's at the Adelaide Oval. Crows are hard enough to beat at the Adelaide Oval. They're 6th on the ladder. Only just narrowly went down to the Pies. So I'm going to be backing the Crows quite comfortably against the Eagles. I think it'll be a 10-plus goal win, in my opinion. Second penultimate game of the round, 3:20 p.m. And this might be actually an interesting game. Melbourne v. the Sydney Swans at the MCG. Melbourne with the big win over Brisbane, as I mentioned, coming home strong in the last quarter to get a well-needed win. They still sit 14th on the ladder, and Swans, after being in the grand final last year, have been so underwhelming. They sit 12th on the ladder. No real forwards there without Joel and Marty, so there's another key forward go down. And yeah, I'm just going to close my laptop screen a little bit. Joel, I could see my reflection. I don't want to. Joel and Marty out for 3 weeks. Justin McInerney out for a week. I thought was starting to find a little bit of form. Heaney had an all-time game, though, so could that build into something? But I just don't know who they're kicking to forward. Melbourne is the same, but if they can get the mids going and put Petrarca down there, and Gawn is so crucial. I think Gawn does a number on his ex-teammate Grundy here and guides Melbourne home to a victory. Could be 2 in a row for Melbourne. And the last game of the round at Marvel Stadium, it's the Saints v. the Suns, 13th versus 3rd. Now, any other day you would say Gold Coast get this done comfortably. But the Saints at Marvel are always so dangerous. Under the roof is exactly where they like it. Wangani Malira looked to play a bit more up the ground for the middle last week, getting five clearances, I believe it was. Him and Sinclair off the back square is really good. Jack Higgins is having an All-Australian type year. I expect to see him with an All-Australian jacket on. If there was a mid-season All-Australian right now, he's in it without a doubt. 5 goals last week. And how many goals has he got? Let me just check for the season. He's very up there in the Coleman. Yeah, so he's second in the Coleman as a small forward, 28 goals, just 1 goal behind Ben King on 29. So he's had an excellent season. It's good to see Philippou back in that lineup too. He'll build into it. Rowan Marshall and Jared Witts will be a good battle, but I think the Suns just get this done pretty easily. So let's click submit there and lock it all in. Submitting tips, and we're all good to go. They're all locked in. So let's go over who I went. Thursday night, I'm going with the Bulldogs. Friday night, I'm going with the Bombers, and the Bulldogs was by 8 points. So Friday night, the Bombers. Saturday, 12:35 p.m., going with the Giants. Then Hawthorn at 4:35, I believe it is, or 4:10. Then the doubleheader on Saturday night, I'm going with Collingwood, then Fremantle. Sunday, 1:10 p.m., I'm going with the Crows at the Adelaide Oval. I'm going with Melbourne over the Swans. It could be an interesting one, that one. And Gold Coast over the Saints, which I'm not 100% confident at Marvel because of how good the Saints are at Marvel. But I just love the way the Suns play. Well, there you have it, guys. There are my tips, predictions, and preview all coming up for the round 11 action. Thank you guys for watching. And if you enjoyed this and are watching this on YouTube, make sure to leave a like and comment on the video, turn on the notification bell so you don't miss an upload, and hit that subscribe button as we race towards 200 subscribers. If you listen to this via Spotify and Apple Podcasts, make sure to hit that follow button and turn on the notification bell so you don't miss whenever we upload. It goes straight to a notification, straight to your phone. So it makes it so much easier to know when we upload. And as I always say, please leave a 5-star rating if you did enjoy this. It helps this episode. It helps so much. And share it out to a mate so we can keep pushing out and growing the network. But thank you guys for listening. Until next time, I'll see you guys then.